Okay everybody, I'm going to show you what happened to my John Deere 347 baler and hopefully how I fix it. Let me flip you around here. So what happened is I was baling down to my last 10 bales, of course, and the shear bolt sheared. So I stopped to check it out, put a new shear bolt in, fired it up, and the clutch would just spin, the plunger wouldn't move. So I borrowed the neighbor's baler to finish baling, and then it's been a couple weeks. I decided to try to figure out what it is. So it spit out this thing right here, right when it broke, and this was super hot and polished up, really shiny. And you can see it coiled that thing up. It was flat at one time, I found out, and it was the rail that side of the plunger rides on. So if you're at the back of it, it's the right side of the plunger. I think the bearing went out on that and wore through this thing, but got it so hot that it was able to bend it into that coil while it was plunging. Once it broke off, it left an edge up there that the little block hangs up on and stops the plunger very solidly. So I'm going to try to remove the rest of this track so that I can get the plunger out and replace all that stuff. So here I am under the baler toward the back end of the plunger. There's a few bolts. There's that bolt right there I just took the nut off of, and then this bolt up here. I'm gonna have to remove these springs to let the hay dogs drop out of the way. There's 3 of them on my baler. Looks like that needs a new spring anyway, or maybe just a washer in there to hold that spring a little more tight. Oh, it looks like it broke, doesn't it? Yeah, it probably needs a new spring. And then hopefully I'll be able to get those the plunger out. Okay, so I was trying to get the nuts off the bottom bolts of that rail, and some of them spun, but since the plunger is stuck there, I couldn't get to the top of them to drill them out or anything. So I cut the bolts off of the stop here, because I think that's what's hanging it up when I try to pull it out. Now I've got a chain hooked up to it. Not sure if this is the greatest idea. Chain's hooked to the four-wheeler. We'll see if I can get it out. I'll let you know. Well, it worked better than I thought, but I forgot to pull the pitman arm up out of the way, and now it's hung there. So I'm gonna knock it back in just a little bit. Oh wow, look at that. That's the other piece of my rolled up piece of metal right there. No wonder I couldn't pull it out. It just rolled that whole thing up after it wore through. It's very interesting. All right, anyway, I'm gonna knock it back in a bit so I can lift the pitman arm, hopefully get it the rest of the way out. All right, I got it all the way to the back. If you notice, my knife hit that bolt right there and caused it to twist. So let's see if I can twist it back. Yep, looky there, she's out. All right, now I'm gonna go find some parts. See if I can, well, that bearing feels really good, actually. So does that one, and that one. Must have just been that block wore that track out. Maybe all I'll have to do is replace that track, but we'll see. All right, I'll let you know. So it has 3 bearings, one right there, one on the other side in the same place, and then one on the side right there. Wow, not very good video footage, I apologize. Right there. Okay, so I just took the bolt out of this bearing right here. This is the bearing that I just took out. You can see, I thought it was in pretty good shape when I spun it, but you can see now that I've taken it out that the surface of it has a pretty good cup in it right there. So it's clearly worn. I'm glad I got some new ones to replace it. And the nut on this was kind of weird. It was really close to an 1 1/8" socket, but the 1 1/8" was slightly bigger than it. But I was able to get it off with that and adjustable wrench on the inside with my impact driver. So, okay, I got the next big bearing out, and I assume by the fact that they're still green, these are the original bearings that were in the baler, and it's quite old, so they've done well. But it wore on the one side, so it's tapered off. One side's wore more than the other, so glad I got that one too. But the interesting thing about this one is the bolt that it comes out of, it doesn't have any head on that end to hold into, which is inside there, but it's got these funny flat edges right there that lock into this flat thing on this side, so that you can take it, into this flat thing on this side, so that you can take the nut off without having to worry about holding the back side of this pin. It came off fairly easy. It, however, was a 1-inch socket to get that one off. So here's what my original problem was. It's really quite impressive. You can see this was all one solid piece. This was unrolled and laid flat across here, and this was unrolled and connected to it. And over time, I guess it just wore enough that it finally broke through and heated up enough to break it, and it rolled both of them up. Rolled this one up on the plunge back, and then this one on the plunge forward, and you can see right there where the block, wherever I put that rides on that, ended up catching, and that's what sheared my pin initially. Hopefully I can get all that out and get it replaced and be back baling. Okay, I was able to get a couple of the nuts off without much ado, but a couple of them spun when I was trying to get them off, and since there's nothing to hold on to on the top, I just took the grinder and the cutoff wheel and cut them off. So hopefully now I'll be able to remove that track up top. I was going to leave the angle iron on the left side, but I think I've changed my mind. I think I might replace it too. Okay, I'm back at it again. This is the next day. I was unable to get parts for it, so I decided to come down. I was trying to take the easy way out, but I have this old other 347 here. It had its own set of problems. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it had some kind of problem with the bale plunger and chamber, and bend a bunch of stuff, and they said it wouldn't be able to be fixed for under about $4,000, and I decided that wasn't worth it, so I kept it for parts. And turns out the part I need is in very good shape, so I'm going to try to get the plunger out of this one the same way I got it out of the other one, and we'll see how that goes, and then I can get those parts out And while I'm here, I may pull these knotters off because they still are in good shape. Take them up inside so they don't get ruined. We'll see how I feel when I get to that. Okay, I got that one out now. It was actually harder than the other one to get out. It was a booger, but it's out now. Now I'm gonna get under and pull off those metal tracks over there. I'll probably pull off this L one over here also. You can see it. Apologize for my poor camera work. It's right down in there. Yeah, the L one and the one on the other side over there. And yeah, those are the things I need. As I was looking at this plunger, I noticed that the knife might be in a little better shape than the other one. And this thing, I can't remember what it looked like on the other one, but I'm just gonna pack the whole plunger over there with me and see what it looks like compared to the other one. And I may do some switching of that kind of stuff too, or heck, maybe I'll just put this plunger back in the other baler. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, here we are. Since nowhere had the part I needed, I was able to take it out of the old baler I had of the same model. I put the two side by side so you can see that's what it's supposed to look like. And here's what mine looked like that I took out. Yes, it was wore out. Anyway, I'm going to put it back in the old 347 and hopefully should be ready to make some bales. Okay, I got the rail back in, the guide rail, all my shiny new bolts. Put that in. Here's that broken hay dog spring. I was going to show you how I get that out, if I can get my camera to stay on there. Hopefully I can, I don't know. Anyway, well, let's see. Right there. This isn't the broken one, but I'll show you on this one. All I did was push in on the spring, push up on the hay dog so that it stays up out of the way. Pop that little spring down there and then pull it out. Pull down on the hay dog and it pops right off of there. And then it goes back on the same way, only opposite. I'll just put this one back on since it wasn't broken, but that's how I changed it anyway. Okay, this is the block off the one that went bad. This is the block off my other baler, which is starting to wear. You can see right there on the one side. All in all, it's in much better condition than this one. And since I had no way to get another new block, I'm going to put this one in. Okay, I've got everything assembled back together. I got my block on this plunger. Now I'm ready to put it back in. I put grease on as much of that track as I could. I'm not sure it'll matter much because there'll always be hay wiping it. But on the part that's past where the hay comes in, maybe it'll keep it a little slippery and avoid so much wear on there. I don't know. But from now on, I'll put a few drops of grease on there every time I bale when I grease the baler. Hopefully that'll help a little bit. Anyway, here we go. Okay, I fought with this for a minute. I'm not sure if you can see in there. See the forks hanging down that pull the hay into the bale chamber. Make sure those are out of the way because your plunger will hit that and you won't be able to go any farther past it. So just spin the flywheel till they move out of the way. Okay, I've run into a couple other things. I replaced my hay dog springs, but didn't even think about them being in the way when I pushed my plunger back in, but they are. The other thing is where you put that block hits the track that you just put in. So you have to pry that up a bit to get it to fit over that new track that I just put in. Okay, I've got her all back together. I'm gonna hop in the mighty Kubota and see if she runs right. Here we go. Now let's see here. It's working. I'm gonna trip the knotter